Push up every day. Push up every day. Push up every day. Push up every day.
Good day, everyone. It's Tebogo Masiki again. Welcome to another episode. Welcome if you're watching for the first time. I hope you've been enjoying other episodes. I hope they've been helpful where we share the same journey. I hope you could relate in some of them. As I said, man, it's about sharing what I think. It's about sharing my opinion. It's about sharing my experiences. Which have molded what I believe today. As far as either money is concerned, as far as being a startup or running a small business is concerned, excuse me, or things like that. I think what I want to talk about today is something that's been on my mind. I don't know whether to put it behind, to cap it as funding or loans or whatever the case is, but it's this concept called OPM, other people's money. Other people's money is a concept I learned about in a seminar many years ago. This was a seminar where they were trying to get people to invest in multiple properties. And they had this whole scheme where they could help you apply for the bonds. And you would be paying no transfer fees because I think they were the developer or they were going to work with developers. So you'd be buying directly from the developer. But the thing that stood out the most for me in those schemes was what one of the guys said in the presentation. He said, if you owe the bank 100,000 rand, you've got a problem. But if you owe the bank 100 million, they've got a problem. Because they'll keep you close in order to try and recoup their money. And at the time, I think it made sense. It made sense, and I believed in the concept at the time, But having said, I think in the previous episodes that some of the things that make people don't start in business is because they're waiting for other people's money. They're waiting for other people's money. They're waiting for funding. They hear these complaints, no, I don't have funding, I don't have this, I don't have that. They don't start with what they've got. They believe they'll be ready when they've got funding, Hence I did an episode that said, start when you're not ready. But I'm gonna talk about something that happened to me that put me in a lot of debt, that contributed a lot to me almost being liquidated. I don't really like to talk about such, but I thought let me share one. So in my early 20s, after learning this whole OPM stuff, I then decided, look, I want to get into property. I want to buy a couple properties and turn them into communes for student housing, you know. Now, I didn't have money. I didn't have a lot of money. I was in business. My business was doing okay, you know. I was doing okay. I could get some loans here and there, you know. So after this whole OPM presentation, I was like, but this is the way to do it. So I did a couple applications with a couple banks for different properties, and they were all approved. So all in all, I owned about 6 houses. But I'm getting into a territory that I'm clueless about. You know, this is not about start when you're not ready. You know, when we say start when you're not ready, we refer to things that you are sure about, industries that you know, that you've studied, that either you've worked, either you've done a lot of homework on. And I had not done a lot of homework on this thing, you know. I was copying other people, you know, to say, hey man, these guys are making money with this property thing. These guys are making money with student housing, you know. So and so is making money. I'll also make money. That's another thing you must be careful of, eh? When we follow trends, make sure you study the trends thoroughly before. You know, don't make that mistake that I made. So I went in. Now you go in with 6 properties. You're not in any scheme. I don't believe in all these stock fells and schemes and whatnot. So I always go at things alone. You know, so you look at it and it's like, I need to take care of everything. I need to pay for transfer fees. I need to pay for registration costs. I need to pay to get the properties, you know, water and lights in my name, you know, and so forth and so forth. You know, you even the physical stuff, you know, like the plumbing you need to fix. You know, certain walls you need to fix. The electricity you need to fix a couple lights in these properties. And I mean, I think they register pretty much all same year. Different times, different months, but pretty much in the same year. And the business looked easy. So I went in it easy. Because, you know, sometimes we tend to like shortcuts of not studying, of not doing research, of not reading, of not asking the relevant people or the right people or the people that are in it. You know, you then discover that, shit, 3 of my houses, the location is wrong. They're too far from the kids. Or the kids feel that they're too far. They wanted the houses on the other section of the school. So now they're not attractive. So you're begging to get tenants there. The other houses, you're getting a few tenants, but not enough to give you money. So what you need to do is to partition the house. You know, is to partition the house to increase capacity. You know, increase the number of rooms, increase this, increase that. Now you don't have the cash. You don't have the cash, so your cribs are occupied by less kids. And they're not going to pay you more because they've got a bigger room. They're paying whatever is going on in terms of the market rates, you know. So if the other guy is charging 1,000 rand a room for a single, that's 1,000 rand. You know, those are the going rates or whatever the case is. And you end up not making enough to pay for your bond. And that's what happened with me. Now you're failing to pay for the bonds. You've got 3 unoccupied houses that are getting vandalized. These kids, you can't manage them. You're battling to manage them. It's like you need a caretaker for each house. They're not at the same spot. I had a lot of problems. The teething problems there were too much. I paid too much school fees there. But anyway, fast forward, I failed. And now I have to pay the bank. I think all those six houses were just shy of 4 million. Just shy of 4 million. But over and above that, that kind of portfolio, that means you've got, which I had, I've got a couple overdrafts with a couple banks. I've got a couple credit cards with a couple banks. So now when all that starts coming down, it starts coming down hard. This is where you realize that, hey, that concept that guy was talking about is not true. Yeah, I owe these banks 4 million. They need to keep me close and give me more money so I can pay them, There's no way in this thing where I should be spending my money. And you realize, nah, that's all bullshit. Now you got the sheriff knocking on your door. Every call is a debt collector. You don't have money. Imagine that. You're losing cars, you're losing personal belongings, you're losing a lot of things. Shit's hitting the fan, You're trying to stop that. They vandalizing the house that side. They vandalizing the house that side. You're trying to sell the houses, you need to fix that house and make it attractive for sale. You don't have the money. You probably could do one at a time, but time is not on your side. I went through it, man. I went through it. I can go on and on about what happened. But the point I'm trying to make is, do a lot of research before you get into anything. That was easy business, to be honest, had I just done research. There's still a lot of people that are making a killing with it today. Had I just done research. To this day, now, I don't get into deals easy. I'd rather lose a deal than rush into a deal, And don't confuse this with me saying start when you're not ready, whatever. That readiness I'm talking about is I'm just talking resources there. I'm just saying don't wait to have all the resources in which to start. And I think I was very clear there. But in terms of kind of the type of industries that you want to get into, especially if you're going in it because the next man is doing it, just someone is doing events, is making money off events. Now you want to go into events because you think you're going to make the same money, but you're not that other guy, How many people do you know that are in events? One. How many people do you know in events that are making money? It's because they're not the same. It's because they're not the same. Other people have different skills, have different contacts, have different approaches to all sorts of business. So do your homework, man. Do your homework. Make sure that if it's a business you're buying, do proper due diligence. I'll do a clip about a business me and a partner bought without doing proper due diligence, and what happened there. Paid a lot of school fees, man. I've paid my dues, and I'm still learning. But just do a lot of homework, man. Ask people that are in it, and don't be scared to ask people that are already in that business. Even if you think they're not gonna help you or they're gonna think you competition, read about things. These days, there's a lot of literature. There's a lot of YouTube. There's a lot on Google, but most importantly, ask the people that are in it, because, hey, you'll get hurt, man. You'll get hurt. But other people's money, be careful of it. If you've studied the business, you must remember that there's nothing for free. So if you've studied the business and you're quite sure this is the business I want to get into, and you want to go in it with other people's money, whether it's the bank, whether it's whoever's money, you must know that nothing is for free. Nothing is for free. There's no one that's just going to give you their money and say, go ahead and do this. You know, even an investor is not for free. You know, we'll chat about it, because a lot of people tend to think that using other people's money is free. I lost a lot of things. You know, I won't say I lost it all, but I lost 90% of everything I had at the time. So be careful of that. I just thought I'd share that because it's been on my mind, you know. So yeah, till we speak again, man, you know what to do.